Hello and welcome to our Genesis Client Services webinar. My name is Amber Neely. I'm the Assistant Clinical Director here at Genesis, and I'm joined with Jordan Gates and Charlotte Weatherford, and we are going to be doing our parenting webinar today. Before we jump into the parenting topic, we just want to go through a couple of things with y'all. So remember that this presentation is for educational purposes only, and so we just ask that you're considering your own situation and safety concerns before putting into practice any of these ideas that we're talking about. So regarding safety, just be sure that you're watching this in a safe place where only safe people can hear you or can hear it. So that might mean that you're using headphones to ensure that no one else can hear what you're watching. And remember to clear your browser history after watching this video in case you are suspecting that somebody might be monitoring your phone or computer. If you are watching with us live on Zoom and you need to leave the webinar quickly, remember to click end meeting, and then there's still another Zoom page that you'll need to close out. Regarding confidentiality, again, if you're watching with us live on Zoom, we ask that you do not use the chat feature. If you do, you will be, your chat will show up and be seen by anyone who's watching the live video and the video recording on YouTube. And so we also ask that you don't leave any comments on our YouTube video recordings, as well as your name and comment will be seen by anyone who's watching the video. If you are in crisis and needing help with emergency safety planning, or you're looking for emergency shelter due to experiencing intimate partner violence, please call our 24-hour hotline at 214-946-4357. If you would like to sign up for counseling at Genesis, or you wanted to talk to a counselor about your situation, you can call us at 214-389-7700. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, we're going to leave our contact information at the end of this webinar. It's at the end of all of these webinars if you're watching on our YouTube channel. And so you can give us a call or email if you have any questions. Please remember on the YouTube channel, we're not monitoring any questions or comments that are left there. So please just contact us directly if you have any questions. And then another list of our hotlines. So we have our hotline there again. And then if you're maybe not in Texas, or maybe you're not in the Dallas area and you're needing some domestic violence resources, we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline listed here. And then we also have the National Suicide Hotline. We know that sometimes in these situations, there are lots of feelings of hopelessness that can lead to some suicidal thoughts or ideas. And so if you're having any thoughts like that, please know that there are people here to support you in that. So you can call us, or you can call any of these hotlines if you're having any suicidal thoughts. Okay, so let's talk about empowering your children. So again, we're still in When Dad Hurts Mom by Lundy Bancroft. Remember, this is what the book looks like. You can find it on Amazon. This book is talking about the effects of domestic violence on children, giving parents or moms strategies on how to help children heal emotionally, guiding you and providing children with love, support, and a positive role model, and help you to increase understandings of court systems. We've done a webinar on that. You can search it on our YouTube channel as well. And so just a refresher, when we're talking about domestic violence, specifically at Genesis, we're talking about intimate partner violence, right? And so that is the systematic diminishment of a woman within her home. And so this can include threats, verbal violence, humiliation. It's creating an atmosphere in which the mom is disrespected by the dad and her voice is silenced. She might be bullied or even treated like a servant. This is really confusing for kids, and it brings a lot of distress to them. It also can create some tension between the mother and child relationship. There's a disruption within that relationship that's happening. And there's also some tension that can happen amongst siblings. Maybe one sibling is aligned with dad and one is aligned with mom. And so there can be some division amongst siblings with that. So today we're talking about empowering your children. And so from Lundy, he talks about how mothers often feel overwhelmed and frustrated when they deal with the abusive partner and then deal with the child's negative experience with the abusive partner. So Lundy talks about empowering your children in order to better process the abuse they have witnessed and to build resilience for future pain they might experience. And so I'm going to pass it to Charlotte, and she's going to talk more about how to go about doing this.
Hey everyone. So kind of the first thing that we wanted to talk about in terms of empowering your children is really teaching them critical thinking skills so that they're able to really process their own experiences and think critically about it. So teaching them the skills allows them to evaluate and recognize healthy and unhealthy behaviors. And Bancroft says that children need to recognize the way that an abusive man has invaded their minds and developed insight to help analyze and reject abusive values. So what this might look like would be helping them to understand maybe what messages that they've received from dad about relationships, respect, marriage, conflict resolution, all these kind of different things that they might have, messages that they might have received after witnessing some of dad's abusive behavior. So just helping them to really think about what beliefs they've internalized, what perspectives they have from those experiences, and helping them to kind of think critically about that. Media is a great tool that you can use to help them to teach critically, especially when you feel like maybe dad's being manipulative. So mom can help her child by looking at various forms of media. And because we know that children encounter media daily, whether this is on their phone, social media, magazines, books, TV shows, music videos, there's a lot of opportunity there to help them kind of navigate these critical thinking skills. So mom can ask questions to help the child depict abusive behavior in their world. So what do you suppose this commercial wants you to believe? What is this ad? What is this trying to make you worry about? Or what does this make you think about? Did you notice that maybe in an everyday situation you could point out something and maybe a unhealthy behavior that you saw in an interaction and ask your child what they thought about that? Just reflecting and asking them to identify what feelings they have and asking like, did that upset you? Well, what was upsetting about it? Was it disappointing? Was it embarrassing? And just kind of really helping them to kind of process through that. I'm going to pass it on to Jordan, and she's going to be talking about keeping children safe.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Charlotte. And so, yes, I'm going to talk about how you can empower your children to create safety plans with them that meet your family's needs. It is important when talking to children about safety that you're letting them know that it's not their job to keep you as the mom safe, right? Their job is to be a child, but it's still at the same time important to teach them about safety and incorporate a safety plan into your family's needs. It's also important to remember that safety plans won't always work. And if someone gets hurt, it's always important, again, to remind the child this is not your fault and tell them that. And so they have that reassurance and validation that they did not do anything wrong. If children make a mistake and do the safety plan wrong, it's still important to tell them it's not their fault and to let them know, right, that the abusive parent is responsible for their actions. It's also important to remind them, right, that they can't change their father. They can't make him change, and they're not responsible for his actions or for making him really angry. Don't put pressure on your child if they're feeling overwhelmed by a safety plan, right? Get creative with them. I'm going to give you some ideas on the next slide, but get creative with them, meet your child where they're at, and create a safety plan that they feel comfortable with. It's also important to educate your child and define safety for them, right? I think we automatically think that kids know how to call 911 and these things, but it's important to teach them tangible steps on how they can keep themselves safe even outside your house, right? It's important to always teach them, what safety is in all aspects of their life. And so here are some ideas on the next slide about specific tangible steps to put in your child's safety plan. And so in regards to domestic violence, if abusive partner is living in the home, right, you can teach them to find a safe room in the house where they can lock themselves in a room if dad is escalating, and also giving them a phone, right, so they're able to call for help. And again, these steps, right, they're going to depend on the age of your child and what your child can comprehend and act on, right? If your child is 2, and they're not going to be able to use a phone to call for help necessarily. You can arrange a code word, so like a safety word with friends or relatives, and so they can use that code word to let the family or friend or support system know that they need help without abuser knowing or without them having to describe the situation. It's important to teach your child how to dial 911 and what to say, and in what situations you call 911 in. You can teach them, right, if you do have safe neighbors that you feel comfortable with, incorporating them in the safety plan, right? You can teach your child to run to the neighbor's house to help call for help. Helping if you have multiple kids, right, that they can use each other to support each other, and they can meet in the same spot, right? And so they can be together and provide each other and provide each other with some emotional safety. You can keep a cell phone hidden somewhere if you feel like that's safe to do, so your child knows where to go get the hidden safety to call for help. And then plan phrases to tell each other, right? That's going to help your child stay calm. So we're going to be okay. You can say things like, it's my job to protect you. We have this safety plan to help keep us safe. And then you can identify safe adults for them, like we talked about earlier, but safe friends or relatives they can call if you're not home, if you're sick or unavailable. So if they're home alone with dad and they're feeling unsafe, right, they still have people to call if you can't answer right away. And then these are some ideas to safety plan when children are at dad's house. So if you're separated and child has visits, unsupervised visits with dad, right? Child could feel nervous, or if you're worried that dad would escalate without you present, right? These are some ideas for the child to keep safe while at dad's house, and empower them that they can take steps to make themselves feel more emotionally safe. So you can draw an outline of dad's house and choose safe places within that house for the child to go to. You want to make sure that your child, depending on their age, knows your telephone number by heart. So if they have access to a phone, they can call you. You can send reminders of you or things that are going to bring them comfort, right? So maybe their blanket goes back and forth with them, or a special toy, a teddy bear, whatever that makes them feel more emotionally safe, then they can take that back and forth to help calm them down. You can talk to your child, right? It's always important to talk to them about what happens if dad is escalating, right? Or what happens if dad is asking questions about where you and mom live, right? And giving them ideas on things they can answer that are safe things that will not cause dad to escalate more. And then if you are worried that dad, right, is not going to return your child at the time of that the supervised visit ends, right, you can talk to your child about what they can do if dad has taken them or kidnapped them, right? You want your child to know their full name. You want them to know where they're from, their address, mom's phone number, and of course, how to dial 911. And I know that's scary to think about, but if you are worried, right, that dad may use the child to manipulate you or to scare you, right, you want your child to feel empowered to help themselves in these scary situations. And also important, right, safety plans are really individualized for every family. And so if you do want to do further safety planning, definitely reach out to a counselor or advocate at Genesis to help you create a safety plan that's best for you and your kiddos. And that's all we have today, but definitely remind yourself that the abuse is not your fault, and you and your children deserve to live a life free of abuse. And thanks for watching and taking the time. Here's our contact information for Amber, Charlotte, and I, our email and our direct phone numbers if you have any specific questions.
Thank you so much for watching. And yes, please reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to support you or help you and your family during this difficult time. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.
Thanks.